It's not funny anymore. Manchester United are officially finished. 9 months into the Ruben Amorim era, the manager looks completely lost.
You can feel it that something has to change.
It's like everything he thought he knew about football had gone straight out the window. The tactics are gone. The confidence is gone. The interviews are getting worse. And whatever belief the fans had, gone too. So it's okay to say it. Something has gone horribly wrong for Ruben Amorim. And I know what you're thinking. We've heard this story before. But trust me, you don't know how bad it really is. The players are now openly putting in requests to leave. The new signings are performing like ghosts. Even the so-called bomb squad exile hasn't solved anything. So in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you the ugly truth. How one of the biggest clubs in world football has turned into a circus act. And why this isn't just another slump. It's the death of Manchester United as a serious football club. But more importantly, what really is the problem? And its solution, if any. It's been 9 months. 9 long, painful months since Ruben Amorim strolled into Old Trafford with his shiny tactics board and that grin, promising to bring Manchester United back to the very top. Another 2 months since he looked straight into the camera, into the fans' eyes, and said, "This season will be different."
6 months ago, in my first 3 games in charge, with 2 victories and 1 draw, I said to you, the storm is coming. Today, after this disaster season, I want to tell you the good days are coming.
And you know what? He was right. It is different. It's worse. Let's just call it what it is. Ruben Amorim has been absolutely, totally, embarrassingly bad for Manchester United. In fact, scratch that. His record isn't just bad, it's disgraceful. You want the numbers? Brace yourself. In the Premier League, he's managed 29 games, just 7 wins, 15 losses, and 7 draws. That's a 24% win rate. 24! For Manchester United, not Burnley, not Bournemouth, Manchester bloody United. And across all competitions, he's taken charge of 43 matches. The result? 17 wins, 18 losses, 8 draws. Yes, he's actually lost more games than he's won. Read that again. At a club that once defined winning, he's somehow made losing the default setting. But here's the worst part. It's not just that they're losing, it's the way they're losing. United have collapsed in games that used to be unthinkable. They've bent over for mid-table fodder. They've been bullied by average sides. And when it really mattered, when there was one chance to salvage pride, the Europa League final, they choked. Against Spurs of all people. Imagine telling a United fan 15 years ago that they'd be humiliated by Tottenham in a European final. You'd have been laughed out of the pub. But this is the reality now. And the crazy thing? If United had somehow scraped through that game, fans would have told themselves, maybe we're turning a corner. Maybe Amorim is the guy. That's how desperate we've become. That's how starved of success we are. But Spurs ripped that illusion away in 90 minutes. And once again, United fans were left staring at the same sickening truth. This club is done. The thing that hurts the most is that Amorim was supposed to be different. He was supposed to be the savior. United sacked Erik ten Hag mid-season, sick of the same old excuses, and Amorim was parachuted in as the fresh face with the bold ideas. The man who rebuilt Sporting Lisbon was going to rebuild United. But 9 months on, we're not rebuilt, we're not even broken, we're in ruins. And yes, the warning signs were there. The moment he started exiling players into what's now called the bomb squad, people should have asked questions. Rashford, Antony, Garnacho, Malaysia, all shoved to the side, painted as the problem children. The message was clear. Get rid of the bad apples, and the tree will flourish again. Well, guess what? He cleared them out, brought in his own shiny new toys. Brian Mbeumo, Matías Cunha, Benjamin Šeško, and United are still worse. So really, were those players the problem? Or was the problem something far deeper, something rotting at the very core of the club? Because here's the thing, you can't keep blaming the players. You can't keep pretending the latest signings or the newest manager will magically fix it. The truth is, Amorim has had his say, he's had his picks, and the football is still pathetic. There's no chemistry, no plan, no progress, just more pain. And that's where the frustration boils over. United fans are exhausted. We're not even angry anymore. We're numb. Every manager comes in, sells us hope, and serves us garbage. Every season starts with fireworks and ends in failure. Amorim is just the latest face on the wall of shame that grows longer every year. So, 9 months in, here's the reality. Manchester United aren't in transition. They aren't rebuilding. They're finished. And no amount of shiny press conferences or expensive transfers can hide it anymore. So far, we've been discussing stats and broken promises, but it gets worse, because we are about to show you the moment Manchester United officially crossed the line from embarrassing to pathetic. And that moment came against Grimsby Town. Yes, Grimsby, a 4th division side. Don't get me wrong, I know that United have lost badly before, but usually to big sides, City, Liverpool, Bayern. Losing to Grimsby is different. It strips away the last illusion of we're still a giant. It shows the truth. Manchester United are no longer feared. They're not even respected. They're a punchline. Let's put this into perspective. Manchester United, a club with the wage bill the size of a small country's GDP, couldn't beat Grimsby over 90 minutes. Couldn't even bully them in extra time. It took Bruno Fernandes and half the senior team coming off the bench just to scrape to a 2-2 draw. And even then, it went to penalties, but United still lost. Think about that. A squad that contains players like Bruno, Cunha, Mbumo, Šeško, names brought in to supposedly transform the attack. Needed all the help in the world just to level the score with a League Two side. It's not just embarrassing, it's shameful. And the man at the center of it all, Ruben Amorim. He looked completely lost. During the game, the cameras kept cutting to him on the touchline, and honestly, it was painful to watch. This is a guy who built his reputation as a tactical innovator, the brains behind Sporting Lisbon's rise. But at Old Trafford, he looked like a man who had no idea what was happening on the pitch. Like the game had passed him by in real time. And then came the post-match press conference, one of the most disastrous in recent memory.
I just want to say sorry to our fans. I have nothing to say anymore about the performance when everything is so important in our club and you try to do everything. You have come from the preseason, even Arsenal, you can lose the game, but you are there, you are improving, you see the performance, but then reach this kind of game.
Amorim didn't just sound defeated, he sounded broken. He admitted the players weren't responding. He hinted that maybe they didn't want him. He questioned his own tactics, his own philosophy, the very foundations of what had made him a coach in the first place. You could see it in his eyes. This wasn't just a bad night. This was a man in free fall. This is a crisis, because when your manager looks like he's lost faith in himself, you've hit rock bottom. And yet, somehow, it gets worse. Because this isn't a one-off, it's part of a pattern. But here's the cruel irony. This is happening despite all the changes Amorim demanded. New signings, new training ground upgrades, the bomb squad exiled. He got everything he wanted. And yet, here they are, struggling against teams. It's proof that the problems at United aren't just about talent. They're about chemistry, and something much darker at the core of the club. Losing to Grimsby wasn't just a humiliation. It was a final eye-opener. It showed us that Manchester United's issues run deeper than tactics, deeper than bad luck, deeper than one manager. So the real question is this: what really is the problem? I have to be honest here. It's not like Manchester United's problems weren't obvious before. Everybody knew this club was rotting from the inside. Everybody knew the issues went far deeper than the pitch. The toxic culture, the reckless spending, the revolving door managers, the wages that made it impossible to shift deadwood players. None of that was a secret. But this time was supposed to be different. This time they have a new owner, finally someone overseeing football operations instead of hiding behind spreadsheets. Sir Jim Ratcliffe's Ineos. They were supposed to bring some common sense back into the club. For once, United had someone willing to throw money around with actual purpose. Someone willing to go out and get the best talent available. And when they hired Ruben Amorim, he was one of the most exciting managers in world football. Probably the hottest young coach in Europe outside of Xabi Alonso. So how on earth did we get here? How is it that after finally cleaning house, after finally acting like a modern football club, United still looks this bad? I think the answer comes down to two massive problems. Problem 1. Take a look at this headline. Notice something? This sounds like Manchester United today, right? Wrong. This was a headline from a Sky Sports article on the 15th of December 2024. Fast forward to 6 months later, we are still seeing the same headlines. The very first problem is Ruben Amorim himself. There is no other way to say it. He's stubborn, rigid, almost arrogant. Every time he's asked in a press conference if he'll change his approach, if he'll adapt his tactics to suit the Premier League or his players, this is his answer.
Yeah, we'll not change that.
He gets defensive, he doubles down on the system, and that is the biggest red flag you can get from a coach at this level. Yes, managers have their philosophies. Yes, they have blueprints they believe in. But the great ones know when to adapt. They know when to tweak things, when to throw something different at an opponent, when to swallow their pride and try a different approach. That's how Pep Guardiola operates. That's how Arteta works. Even Enzo Maresca at Chelsea, new to the league, but tactically sound, willing to flex when the game demands it. But Amorim, he's obsessed with his 3-4-3. He's built his reputation on it in Portugal, and he refuses to abandon it now, even though it's been a disaster in the Premier League. Even though teams here are too fast, too physical, too unforgiving for such a one-dimensional approach. Week after week, he sends United out in the same shape, and week after week, they get exposed. That's not philosophy. That's stubbornness dressed up as vision. But to be clear, it's not the system that is the problem. It is the unwillingness to slightly adjust the approach to suit his players. That is an even bigger issue than having one idea. Problem 2. The second problem is bigger than Amorim. It's baked into United's DNA over the last decade. The way this club throws contracts at players who haven't earned them. The way they hand out wages so inflated that when the time comes to sell, nobody in their right mind will take them. It's the same cycle over and over again. Look at the Garnacho situation. Talented kid, sure, but it took forever to find him a move because his wages were ridiculous. And that's just one example. This is the reason United gets stuck with players long past their sell-by date. The club buys high, pays higher, and then acts shocked when nobody else wants to touch these guys. And that culture hasn't gone away because Amorim came in. It's still strangling the squad. Which brings us to the final serious question. What's the solution going forward? In all honesty, I do believe that Ruben Amorim is a likable coach. He's honest, straight to the point, and he clearly cares about doing things the right way. And truthfully, I think his tactics can work. His 3-4-3 system has been proven before. But here's the reality. The Premier League is ruthless, and Manchester United don't have the luxury of endless patience. Yes, it's basically a new team this season. So maybe the players do need more time to adapt. Maybe they'll eventually click. But you can't look past the obvious problems right now. The playing style isn't dominant enough. The tactics don't look sharp enough. And 9 months in, the execution hasn't improved nearly as much as it should. So what's the solution? Honestly, it's simple. Amorim has to swallow his pride and adapt. He can't keep forcing the 3-4-3 if it's not working. Also, United as a club has to fix their culture. No more bloated contracts. No more buying players for hype rather than fit. And the players, they need to step up, show fight, show urgency, prove that they deserve to wear that shirt. If those three things don't change, then nothing else will. But if Amorim manages to evolve and the squad finally gels, then maybe, just maybe, Manchester United can crawl back toward the top. I'd love to be wrong about this. I'd love for United to rise again, but the evidence right now says otherwise. So here's the truth. It's not funny anymore. Manchester United are finished, at least for now. But football never stands still, and the story of this club isn't over. But do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel, and it means you won't miss the next deep dive. And speaking of the next one, if you thought Amorim's story was wild, wait till you hear about Tottenham's manager, Thomas Frank. That video is on your screen right now. Click it, and I'll see you over there.